And there's more from the United States. The White House is threatening the Solomon Islands. This is a small Pacific nation that is becoming the new flashpoint between China and the West. Solomon Islands has signed a security deal with China. We've been telling you about this. The details are yet to be shared with the world. But Washington says it will retaliate if China sets up a military base in the Pacific. In Australia, the defense minister said they should prepare for war. Why is Solomon Islands evoking such strong reactions, and what is China up to? Our next report has the answers.
China building a military base in Solomon is fake news made up by people with ulterior motives.
China remains firm in its denial, as does America in its accusation. Washington is convinced that Beijing is building a military base in the Solomon Islands, and it says it is ready to respond accordingly. This is America's message, and this is the story so far. The Solomon Islands signed a security deal with China. The details of the deal are not known. A draft agreement was leaked on the 1st of April. It hinted at a possible Chinese military base in the South Pacific. None of this comes as a surprise. The Solomon Islands has been tilting towards China for a while. In 1993, the US closed its embassy in Honiara. In 2019, the Solomons broke ties with Taiwan. 3 years later, the small island nation has become the latest flashpoint between China and the West. Why do you think this deal has alarmed the West? 1. Because its location is strategic. 2. Because if China really builds a base in the island nations, you would have the PLA just 2,000 kilometers from Australian shores. One look at this map and the implications become clear. The Solomon Islands give China the access to the entire Pacific. This changes the power balance in the region. China continues to insist that this is all fake news.
China building a military base in Solomon is fake news made up by people with ulterior motives. I have noticed that the United States and Australia have accused the security cooperation between China and Solomon Islands of lacking transparency. But the US-UK-Australia Trilateral Security Partnership Agreement, AUKUS, is an undisclosed and opaque black box operation. When will the United States, the United Kingdom and Australia intend to hand over AUKUS to regional countries, including the South Pacific Island countries, for deliberation?
The world doesn't trust the dragon. The US and Japan have rushed to the Solomons. They've extracted assurances. No long-term Chinese presence, no power projection capabilities. That's the promise that the Solomon Islands has made to America and Japan. But here's the problem. The leaked draft points at provisions permitting China to make ship visits to carry a logistical replenishment in and have stopover and transaction in the Solomon Islands. So, who do you believe? For the longest time, Australia believed this region was its turf. Well, not anymore. Prime Minister Scott Morrison says that China's involvement in the Solomon Islands is a red line. The defense minister has gone a step ahead. He says Australia should prepare for war.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.